So check it out. Have you guys heard about a competition in the mycology, the mushroom cultivation community called Battle of the Agar? Well, if you didn't, we're about to get into some really cool stuff right now. I'm going to show you guys a behind the scenes. We're going to check out some plates and we're going to be judging live with you guys. So stay tuned. Let's go.
Dripping on acid in the hotel lobby. Everything moving hella fast, Ricky Bobby. Floating in the ethers. Listen to the ethers, you can probably tell the future. Superhuman man.
What's going on, Trip Team? So as you can see, a little bit different. I'm at my desk right now. And that's because we're going to be checking out some agar plates sent in from all over the community, from tons and tons of cultivators just like you at home. So this competition, Battle of the Agar, is a competition that happens every single year. I'm not sure if it happens once or twice a year, but this is Battle of the Agar number 4. This is the 4th time they did it. And yes, me, Willy Myco, is one of the judges for this competition. So you guys are gonna get to see me as I'm judging the plates. You know, I haven't seen any of the plates. I don't know who the plates belong to. It really doesn't matter. We're judging them off of aesthetics pretty much. So how the plate looks, how artistic did they take the picture, things like that. But you know me, I'm a mycologist, I'm a cultivator, so I'm gonna get a little bit more in depth. You know, I'm gonna be checking out growth, I'm gonna be looking for specific things, because that's really gonna determine how I score each individual plate. Now, each individual plate can be scored from 1 to 10. So you could do 1.5, 2, 3, 3.5, whatever. So 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Now, I'm not the only judge. There's a couple other great judges. I'm going to put everybody's Instagram and all that stuff in a pinned comment down below. But what we're going to do is we're going to judge every single plate. We're going to submit our scores, you know, where we judge the plates at. And then they're going to tally up the scores across all judges to come up with some winners. Now, the winners get some really cool stuff. There's a lot of amazing sponsors in this competition, like Oakland Hyphae, you know, Thermo Helix. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Just check out the links down below because you'll be able to see. I'm really honored that they asked me to be one of the judges, which is just absolutely amazing and humbling. And I want to thank you guys so much for, you know, the chance to do this. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be able to spend a ton of time on each individual plate because I believe there's like 70 or 80 entries. So I just can't spend all day, you know, sitting on one plate. So we're going to move through them kind of fast. The ones that catch my attention, we'll stop and we'll talk about them a little bit. But really, we're just going to move through them nice and quick. Like I said, this is aesthetic. So this is the rules of the competition. They're not set by me. They're set by Agar Addicts. They're the creator of this competition that, you know, happens in the community. Had to take off my glasses. They always get fogged up. So rule number 1, you can only submit one picture of one plate. You can't submit more than one plate. So it has to be the best of the best, you know, the one that you're willing to put all your money on and let it ride in this competition. So 1. 2, it has to be from spore. So the agar, it doesn't matter what transfer it's on, but the original growth had to be started from spore. That's the second rule. The third rule is really you just had to follow the judges, follow, you know, Agar Addicts and the sponsors and things like that. But other than that, it's really, really simple to enter. And if you win some cool stuff. It's absolutely free, by the way. So if you want to enter into this, just go over to Instagram because that's how you enter. I've been talking about it for like the past 2 weeks. It's free to enter. If you win a bunch of cool stuff. So, you know, you have nothing to lose. So definitely get involved. It's a good way to get your name out there too. If you're trying to get into this community and, you know, you've been doing mycology work and you just want to get, you know, a little bit more recognition or make connections, things like that, then this is a good way to get involved. So enough talking. You guys know a little bit about the competition now. You know what I'm looking for. Let's jump into it and check out some of these entries live. All right, guys, so this is it. I'm about to press play. All the entries are on this video. Each agar plate stays up there for 4 to 5 seconds. So we'll pause it and, you know, we'll give everything a score right here. All right, plate number 1. As you guys can see, some really nice rhizomorphic growth all the way around. You know, you don't see any fluffy tomatose growth. Another cool thing is the color of the agar, so it's like a lime green color. And I like that they took the picture without the cover on top of the agar dish. Really good job. Now, a few things I don't like about this is the black dots that you can see in the bubbling on the agar. That's going to take away from the aesthetics a little bit since this is an aesthetic competition, but I'm going to give this one a solid 5. Second dish looks amazing. I really like the thickness of the growth. You know, this plate's actually pretty close to, you know, getting towards a mono. Now, a few things I don't like about it is all the condensation that we have going on the lid. I think, and obviously the writing at the top. Now, obviously that's there for a reason, but if you're entering this into an aesthetic competition, you want to remove that lid because it's going to give us a better look at what's going on and it's going to take away all that ugliness, you know. Now, granted, this might be an old dish that they submitted. It might not be something current, so they didn't have a picture with it with the lid off, but it really would have helped out with the score if it didn't have the lid on it. With that said, I'm going to have to give this one a 4.5. I really like this dish. Now, obviously, there's a couple things that really stand out to me, but first, let's talk about the growth. So on the outside, beautiful, nice, rhizomorphic, fluffy growth. It looks really, really good. Now, a couple things that are going to take away from it are obviously this isn't a consistent plate. So I don't know if they cut some bacteria out of here. As you guys could see, it's missing 2 chunks right here. So I'm assuming that there was some type of bacteria or mold on here and they removed it so it would look a lot cleaner for the picture. Another thing that I don't like is that they have a lid on the dish and you can see the parafilm going around it. It just takes away from the aesthetics. Now let's talk about the good things. One, the background. I love the background. The background looks awesome. The agar up against it, the contrast looks great. Another thing I like is the carbon agar, so I like that black color. It's also giving it that contrast. And then you got some nice growth. Now, if it was me personally, I personally wouldn't have removed the bacteria or the mold. I think that would have added something really cool to the picture. That would have been interesting to see, the comparison between the nice healthy mycelium and something that was trying to take over the nutrients. You know, it would have just been a cool picture, and if it would have been taken the right way, it really could have killed this one. With that said, I'm going to have to go and give this one a 4.5 as well. It would have been a solid 6, 7 if it would have not had those pieces cut out and the lid would have been taken off. Maybe even upwards of an 8 because I love the background and the agar so much. But at the end of the day, this is going to be a 4.5 because of those little things. This is a competition. I'm not saying nothing about your work. Your work's great. But it's a competition, and this is what we need to do. We need to judge these plates. There can only be one first place winner. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful dish. This one really, really stands out. Now, let's just talk about the negatives because there isn't that many with this plate. First, if you would have had it up against a nice background, you know, where you couldn't see your fingers, those black gloves, it would have looked so much better. Now, at first, I thought there wasn't a lid on this dish, but at closer inspection, you could see the ridges along the outside. So definitely has the lid on there. I would have liked to see it without the lid, but the color of the agar is awesome. The pinwheel growth on this dish is just phenomenal. I love the way it grew out. It grew out like a pinwheel. You got nice, healthy, ropey mycelium and a nice, clean agar cut. This makes a huge difference for aesthetic purposes. So as you can see, they have a nice, clean circle. Now, for you guys at home, just a quick pro tip or a micro tip, if you're wondering how they do that, what they actually use is a straw or a hole punch. You could use either or. If you want to use a straw, that's the easiest way. You just sit it in some isopropyl, you pull it out, let it air evaporate, and you can punch holes in your agar and transfer it over to a new dish. That's how you get those perfect circular cuts on your transfers. But other than that, hands down, this is a fantastic looking dish. Obviously, nothing close to a monoculture, but it's a very healthy, nice looking dish. And I'm gonna give this one a 7.5. I think it's that good. Here we go. Now, this one, still clean looking dish. I like the color of the agar. I like that they removed the lid from the agar plate, but we're technically looking for rhizomorphic growth, which is the nice, stringy, healthy growth. And this has it, but there's definitely a blend of some tomatos, some aerial mycelium, which is giving it more of a fluffy look. Now, as far as the symmetry and all that, it looks good, but it could have been better. And for that reason, I'm going to give this one a 6. I still think it's really, really good, but obviously it could have been elevated just a little bit better of the background, not so much aerial fluffy mycelium, you know, because technically, I don't believe this is tomatos mycelium on the outside. I believe it's just that there's probably some condensation in that dish. It's probably really humid wherever they have it, the temperature, and you're getting some aerial mycelium. So that's all it is. If you wouldn't have had that, I think this dish definitely would have scored a little bit higher. But I think this is a solid 6 all day. Now, this one's really, really cool. This looks like the tree of life. Nice, heavy, rhizomorphic growth. You could really see that mycelial network. I like that they took 3 separate transfers and put it on this plate because it gave it some really unique looking growth. I really, really like this one. Now, obviously, the background, I'm not feeling the background, but definitely the growth, the plate, the way it's displayed is really, really good. And I'm going to give this one a 7.5. Now, because there's like 70, 80 different entries, what we're going to do is I'm just going to speed along. I'm going to judge some of these plates. And when we get to something that's really, really cool, I'm going to stop it and we're going to talk about it. Now, just a couple plates later, I had to stop it and talk about this. Look at the growth on this plate and look at what they did. So the way they did the cuts, they made it look like an eyeball. So as you guys can see, the pupil and then the eye itself. Now, I don't know whose plate this is specifically, but I have an idea. I don't want to say it out loud, but I think I know whose plate this is. And, you know, I love the growth. Obviously, I would have liked to see a lot thicker growth, but here's the good parts about this. The background. The background's completely black, so it makes the plate really, really stand out. Adding some art flair to this, creating a picture within the plate is just something really, really cool. And like I said, this is all about aesthetics. We're judging it on the way it looks. We're not judging on, you know, the very finite details of mycology. We're not diving into, you know, how the mycelium looks, you know, specifically, or if it's tomatos or rhizomorphic, what transfer is it on? Is it a monoculture or not a monoculture? Does it still need some isolation? We're not talking about any of that. This is purely aesthetics, and for aesthetic purposes, this one hit it on the head. And I'm going to go and I'm going to give this one the highest score that I've given so far. You're going to get an 8 because I really, really like this. Here we go, plate number 10. We got Yeti. Now, that's obviously a great genetic that's out there. If you guys know, you know. But all in all, the growth looks amazing on this plate. Now, there's a couple things that are driving me crazy about this plate. One, obviously the background, and 2 is that it's a small plate. It's not a 90, 100 millimeter plate, and it has the lid. So those 3 things are taking away from this. If this was in a bigger plate with no lid, no writing, and a better background, this would be probably one of my top plates. I think it really, really would have killed it. But still with that, I'm going to give this one a 7. Now here we go, entry number 13. Now background's great, but same thing. Lid, writing on the lid. You know, you got your parafilm around it, but worst of all is the picture is so blurry. Look at how blurry this is. I wish it would have been a lot more crisp so we could have seen a lot more of that detail. But, you know, all in all, you could still see its nice, healthy, rhizomorphic growth. But, bro, it looks like you took the picture with a Nokia. Syzygy, you know, the McKenna Syzygy, amazing genetics as well. But because of the quality of the picture, because of the lid, the writing, I'm gonna have to knock this one down to a 6, which really, really sucks because I think if the picture would have been taken a little bit better, the lid off, I think this would have been up there because this is the type of growth I'm looking for. Now here's another great plate. Now, what's killing me, obviously the lid, the background, but all in all, the growth is absolutely phenomenal. Just like one of the earlier plates, I love that they took 3 symmetrical circle transfers and put it on this one plate because you're seeing a lot of good different growth, but it all comes together and just looks absolutely amazing. Now, unfortunately, because of the lid, because of the background, I'm gonna have to give this one a 6.5. But other than that, the growth is just amazing. Now, number 21, they did something really cool. It looks backlit, so it almost looks like an X-ray shot in a sense, you know, like it's being taken in an X-ray. I love this. It completely kind of just took the dish away, so you're not really seeing any dish, you're just seeing the growth. This is probably one of the best plates I've seen so far. Nice rhizomorphic growth, very symmetrical, obviously no writing, no lid, none of that. It's very artistic. I like this one a lot. Entry number 21, you did a really good job. This is going to be an 8.5 for me. I think that's the highest that I've scored so far, but it really, really deserves it. Now, number 30, I just had to stop on this one. Now, you're probably in the beginning of cultivation. There's a few ways I could tell that. One is this really isn't rhizomorphic growth. Now, one of the things that was said publicly that we're looking for on entries is rhizomorphic growth. This isn't so much rhizomorphic. This is definitely more tomatose. Another thing I could tell is your transfer right here. So this is very, very, very small for a transfer. So that's probably why you're not getting the most significant growth out of it. Still good job. With that said, I'm going to give this one a 4. You still have a lot of growth, but you know, I could see the potential there and I think you're going to do amazing things. Number 34, entry number 34. Whoever's entry this is, you're a cheater, bro. I see what you're doing. You're trying to pull the wool over our eyes with this photo. Now, let me just say something. Your plate that's, you know, forefront looks great, right? But, and this kills me because if that was the only thing there, this would have scored really, really high. I love the growth. I love the color of the agar. But you were only supposed to send a picture of one plate. And as you can see in the background, there's at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more plates I'm counting. And you made sure to put some nice rhizomorphic ones on top. Another thing that takes away from it is the mycocoil. You know, we all got mycocoils. We love them. You know, you're on your rack, all that good stuff. But really, you know, the prime piece is the plate that you want to be judged. And because of that, I'm going to give this one a 5.5. I think this one would have been an 8, 9, possibly, if it would have just been this one plate with nothing else there. But I think he was trying to show us you're a good mycologist, and I think he was trying to show us what you're working with. Entry number 35, I had to stop it here. You're another one. So, so what this one did, and I'm almost 1,000% sure, is they put their thumb over some contamination or bacteria or a crack. I don't know. Something that wasn't supposed to be there. Their thumb is over the top of it like it's just supposed to be like that. That's absolutely hilarious. Love the symmetry, but again, it's really not rhizomorphic growth, which is what we're really looking for in this competition. You know, the hand, the finger, it's funny, but it's killing me. And you could obviously see this drastic crack right here. So I'm assuming that there's something underneath that thumb. I wish I could just pull that thumb up and see what's under there. You know, that's driving me a little crazy. I'm probably going to think about that when I go to sleep tonight. Thank you, mother. With that, I'm going to give you an A for effort, but I'm going to give you a 4 for your plate. Just wasn't what we're looking for, and what we are looking for might be under your thumb, but we'll never know.
Nobody knows.
Here we go. Nice, beautiful plate. Again, I wish the lid was not on there, but the growth is just phenomenal. You know, you got the impulse sailor there in the background, has nothing to do with agar really, but I understand what you're doing. You're trying to use it to hold it up, make it look all artsy and nice, and I love that. But really, the cream of the crop, the big shebang in this picture is the growth. Beautiful, beautiful growth. If that was my plate, I would be happy with it. And this plate's getting a 7. Okay, I think this is the best plate so far that I've seen. One, love the healthy growth. It looks absolutely phenomenal. I'm a little upset that you didn't take the lid off of the agar dish. I wish you would have took the lid off. It would have just killed it that much more. But still, crystal clear shot through the lid. You know, it's probably only me that notices little stuff like that. But you could see the mycelium really healthy. You got those 3 transfers. They're growing beautifully. But the way that this picture was taken, it looks like it's in a trip itself, right? Like they did such an artistic job with this that it just elevates the plate to that next level. And because of that, this plate's getting a 9.5. I love this plate. This is honestly the best plate I've seen thus far. Good job, whoever did this picture, whoever's plate this is, you did a really good job. You should be really proud of yourself. 9.5, I didn't think I was gonna really give one of those in this competition, but this is definitely deserving. Now, 39, I just wanted to stop real quick. Nice, really nice growth, but you get that writing showing through on the side, and worst of all, you're using a condiment cup. Now, I know a lot of you guys use those condiment cups for your agar. You know, you don't want to have full plates or they're just cheaper, whatever the case may be. But for an agar competition where it's going to be judged, use a full 100 millimeter or 90 millimeter plate with the lid off, you know, no writing. You're going to get the best score that way. That's what the judges are looking for, especially when it comes to an aesthetic competition. You know, we're not looking for anything that's really detailed. We're just looking for stuff that's pretty, that's going to catch the eye, that's going to get a good score. Regardless, really good growth, but I just wish it wasn't inside a condiment cup. I wish it was on a plate. It would have done a lot better, but I'm still going to give this one a 5 because I really like the growth. Number 44, it's really cool looking. Love the color of the agar. It kind of looks like a tree. You know, it looks like a tree that's growing. I love that fact, but I wish it was just more symmetrical, growing all the way around. You could see this growth down here at the bottom is just something we'd pretty much ignore when we're looking for transfers and stuff like that. And this looks like it might potentially be a tissue sample. I'm not 100% sure. You know, it could just be overgrowth, aerial mycelium. I can't see that clear, but I'm almost sure this is a tissue sample. But regardless, let's just assume it isn't. I'm still going to give this one a 4.5 because the growth up here looks really good. They don't have a lid on it, which is a positive. I just wish it was a little bit better background and that the growth was just a little bit more symmetrical. We could see it down here. It would have just set it off to a whole nother level. Boom. This is the growth you're looking for. So if you're doing a transfer, you're looking for healthy, nice, aggressive growth. This is the type of growth you want to look for. This is nice, thick, ropey, rhizomorphic mycelium. Nice and clean all the way around. Their agar is nice and smooth. They definitely are using the carbon agar. So you get that nice black background. And, you know, the background could have been better, but it's not horrible. But I'm still going to give this one a good score. This is definitely an 8. I think this looks amazing. I would be happy to have this plate in my lab. All right, plate number 51. This one caught me off guard. Right away, before I even seen the big name printed out there on the front and all that, I could tell just by the mycelium what this was. So this is Psilocybe natalensis. This is one of the most aggressive mycelial fungi that you could actually cultivate. The mycelium on the natalensis is so ropey, thick, to the point to where people actually have to scrape it when they're cultivating it because it just overlaps and overlaps and overlaps, and they have a hard time getting pins because the mycelium is so thick that it strangles out the pins. But as you guys can see, the mycelium is just ridiculous. Some of the most ridiculous rhizomorphic mycelium that you'll possibly see. What's killing this for me is the glove. The fact that the name is right there, dead center on the plate, that the lid's on there, that there's parafilm on there. If this picture was taken without the lid on there, without the label on there, I think this would have been a perfect 10. But because of the lid, the parafilm, and the label, and this is killing me to do this, I'm going to have to knock this one down to an 8.5. But this would have definitely probably been a perfect score for me. One, because I love the genetics personally. That's some of my favorite genetics. And it just looks fantastic. I want to dive into that picture and just swim in that mycelium, if that makes sense. But 8.5, still amazing. Whoever's plate that is, good job. It looks great. All right, guys, and there you go. So there's still other entries, but I don't want to drag this video out too much. And, you know, I can't spend too much time doing this. I want to try to compress this video down into a manageable size. But pretty much you guys could go to Agar Addict's Instagram and you guys could check out all the entries yourself. He's going to have them all up there so you could check out all the entries and see which ones you guys like, what you would have done different, and hopefully learn from this one. If you didn't get involved in this one, but you want to get involved in the next one, then definitely go look and start pulling things apart. And this is just going to give you a little bit of insight, what we're looking for, how we're judging, you know, so that you could submit the perfect photo and possibly win the next one. Congratulations to everybody that entered. Now, I was put in the position to judge, so I have to judge. Regardless, no matter how much I think all you guys are amazing and all the plates are amazing, I have to judge because there can only be one first place winner. There will still be a second and third place that will get prizes, but it really comes down to that number one spot, and there can only be one. So I really have to judge these along with my other co-judges that are just absolutely amazing, and then they're going to tally up all the scores from all of us anonymously, and they're going to come up with the winners. So thank you guys for joining me on this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to see more videos like this, then definitely let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, all that good stuff. Thank you guys for everything you do, because without you, there is no me. I'm Willy Myco. Do good, be good, live good. Namaste.